Well, howdy doody. What are we doing now, everybody? It just doesn't end on the Ice Age TV Adventure Day. Look here, I'm down in D.C. now, taking care of business down here in D.C. There's the Watergate building, the Potomac River is over there. Georgetown University's over there. I'm on the Key Bridge going into Georgetown. Washington, D.C. People are out and about walking, enjoying as usual. I'm fighting traffic. It just doesn't end. And down in D.C., they're always putting yet another building up. Pretty incredible. The construction just never, ever ends. And here, I talked to people on my channel about the flour mill that used to be a very prominent thing down here in D.C. So the flour mill, I think it's down there where those smokestacks are, I think. And the Rogers family, who lived in Loudoun County, Virginia, that family used to own that flour mill. They bought up all the bankrupt flour mills during the Civil War. Yeah, so and I used to bring my boat down here. My dad used to bring his boat down here. We've brought the boat down here many years ago to watch the fireworks on the mall from the water. And I used to bring my little sport boat up here to that dock down there where there's a beautiful, nice restaurant to hang out. But I would park my boat down here on like a Friday evening, and then we go walk Georgetown hopping bars. And then by the time we got done drinking and having a good old time, we go back down to the boat, be about midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, and I would then head on back to Occoquan, where we were keeping our boat back there, and that was about an hour ride. And as long as it was clear out and had a nice moon, it was not too bad. What would that be like in July, August? We're doing that thing in the cooler months. But there we go. Even for me coming down here, I'm not, I'm kind of more back on the field because my daughter used to do a lot of things that now I'm doing. I used to be more back at home. I don't have my Ice Age, or I should say my Ice Girl, helping out. I'm now the second man on hand. And for Brian, he's way up in Bel Air, Maryland today. He's had a long day. A lot of driving, but here we are. And I've driven this area so many times. I have been down here at the DC. There it is, the flour mill, what I tell you. But so it wasn't the smokestack, but that used to be, they called the flour mill. And then of course, they bulldozed it. And yeah, what do you think it costs to live down here? What do you think it costs to have your penthouse on top of all the restaurants and business and everything else? Yeah. I used to have a lot of business in D.C. I don't anymore. I kind of pulled back. It's very challenging to get around, and then just to have a riffraff, and it's just, I kind of just faded away. And here we go. Into D.C. My dad used to work right up the street, right up the street here. If I remember, it was M Street. I've been to his office. I can remember the first time I came down here back in 1980. My dad had an apartment right up here on Pennsylvania Avenue, and he lived down here for about 6 to 8 months before we moved down here to transition from Jersey to Virginia. And I told you that story of my friend Bill coming down here. He and I walked the mall, and he got scammed by the Moonies. I don't even remember that story of me and Bill walking the mall back in like 1980. We're just high school kids, and he gets totally scammed by the Moonies. If you know who the New York, or no, here in D.C. it's the Washington Times. That guy's dead, Mr. Moon, or whatever they called him. The cult, the religious cult. So there we go, and then you find the homeless people. They cleaned it up. I haven't been down here in a while. Used to be a lot of homeless encampments down here. Looks like D.C. came and cleaned it up. Wonder if that was part of Trump kind of forcing the hand. And there's the Watergate there, I believe. No, it's the next one up. So no, I'm not. Down here, gas prices, $3.23, for $3.64, $4.04. All right, time to get out of the DC, man. You have no idea how many years I have worked in DC, and I have been in the really bad areas of DC. Back in the oil industry, I used to work over the northeast, southeast parts of DC, man. It's so bad. You'd see a body laying in the alleys. Yeah, no lie. I used to right here. And what was Trump doing? I thought he made a bunch of people mad or something. I thought he was cleaning that up. I don't know. I can't keep track of all the damn news. Can you? But it's happening. Everybody's out and about. It's a beautiful Friday. It's a beautiful Memorial Day weekend where you can enjoy the weekend. That's the good news. Is the weather's going to be respectable. Yeah, I can still remember coming up into DC in my boat. But you know, after 911, for years you could not come up here. I don't know if people know that or not, but after 911, you were banned from this whole waterways here. It was like you couldn't get past the Woodrow Wilson Bridge to come up in this area. So let's see here. Where am I going here? I think I got an only thing here. I got to get over one here, buddy. Come let me in. Even me living these roads, but I don't drive them long enough. Even for me, I get like, where am I? Here's all Roslyn. This whole area has exploded. I mean, a building doesn't stop, man. There's another building being built. I mean, you hear about all this remote work and all these empty offices, but all I see is the never-ending cranes of building yet another building. So you have to say to yourself, it's like, wow. Now this is interesting. So this here is not putting me on the toll road, which I ain't going out the damn Beltway, man. There's no way. So there's a trick on how you do this up here. If I remember now, this here I think keeps you on. Oh, okay. I'm thinking I'm somewhere else. I'm thinking I'm on the GW Parkway right now, having to get back over to 66. That's a little trick. So no. My parents have eaten at that restaurant up top there. I know that was a place they went so many years ago, overlooking the Washington, D.C., the Potomac, and it's the crazies. It's the crazies time. Or if you don't go, people in front of you drive too slow, people in the back of you drive too fast. It's just the Friday, which for me, the goal is to get off the roads by 2 o'clock. You'll be all right. Otherwise, not so much. In Colorado, this little truck does get up the road and does what it's got to do. That's for sure. The wife called me this morning to give me the honey to-do list. Yeah, the wife called me this morning to do the honey to-do list. And she's all fixated on my dad having an estate sale. Now, it's mixed. I hear lots of different things. One minute my dad's selling the house, then he's not selling the house. Dad's having an estate sale, then he's not going to have an estate sale. So now my wife's like, you better get down there and get things that you want to have. I'm like, we don't have any more room, honey. We don't have any more room for furniture. And I don't know what Leah wants or Rachel wants or Dave. I have no idea what they want, but I was just like, oh my gosh. So my wife was going on and on and on about how I need to get down there. And start, getting things for the estate sale. But I'm just like, I don't know. I just listened as a husband. I just listened, and I get it. She has great intentions of, basically wanting to keep my mother's really nice stuff, and instead of letting somebody else buy it. So I understand that, and that's very nice of my wife. So wanting to keep the history of my mother and the family and our family, not sell it to some yahoo, if you know what that means. Estate sale, people come along and they cherry pick all your stuff that you own and pay a dime on the dollar for it. Oh, what's going on here? It doesn't end. It doesn't end. What's going on? Why are these always people stopping? I have no idea. So my wife was going on and on about that. And, the breaking news, I'm surprised nobody on my channel this morning has gone, the breaking news. The breaking news. What's the breaking news? Well, here's the thing. I won't know till this evening, the breaking news. So this is class and this Wagoneer, whatever. It's like, hello, they're from Georgia. They're not regulars, so I can understand that. But, yeah, so the breaking news. I don't have any news yet, the breaking news. Oh, here comes my friend Bob. We got to talk to him because I need him to help me take some time off to get out of here.
Yeah, I got something all right, too.
Yeah, hey, I got to head out of town, and I'm going to be gone down there in Florida for a good week. It'll probably be like the first part of June into the second week. So I'm just seeing what your schedule is. Stephanie would probably fly down and be down there 3 or 4 days. So the 14th is my mother's celebration of life. And then, so I think Stephanie will be down there a few days. So the question is, are you available to help take care of the dogs?
I should be, but let me give me I have to look at my schedule as far as when I got to be down in Hampton. Anne's supposed to go with her daughter to pick out a wedding gown.
She's getting married again?
Yeah, where her husband died.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember that. He had a big. Didn't he have a big drinking problem? Was he an alcoholic or something?
Yeah, I guess that was, the issue, and I think it killed him.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it.
Yeah, but let me look at it and I'll give you a call back, okay?
Yeah, well, I'm just trying to give you a heads up that not this week, but probably it'd be the following late in that week that I would maybe head out of town, maybe, or the first part of the second week of June. But I got to be back because Brian's got to go away. So I think he's going to be heading out of town. The 14th is a Saturday, and I think he's heading out of town the following like Thursday or Friday. So I'd have to be back by like that following Wednesday. So you just might want to be looking at your schedule from the 7th through maybe like the 16th. But the real thing is, Stephanie probably would only be gone from probably like the 10th through the 10th or 11th through the, I would say she's probably going to have on Thursday. That would be probably the 12th through probably, then the 16th. So I probably really wouldn't need you till from the 12th to like 16th. It's like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute here. I'm going to pull over and look at what day, what time, when I got to be down here.
Yeah.
I'm going into a parking lot here, so give me a minute.
Yeah, you're in no hurry. Now, I charged your battery up, so it took a long time to charge that thing up, but it did finally charge.
Cool.
Just so you know, if you're wanting to come by this weekend and try to get your boat going, I'll be around to help you out.
All right. Let me see here. Let me see here. All right. Yeah, I've got to go to Hampton, I think, Wednesday evening, the 11th.
Oh, man.
And let me see here. So I'd probably go on like the 11th, 12th to 16th or something like that.
Oh.
So you got to be down there when? Or when would I need to be there?
Well, what you're talking about, the time frame you just said.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, then I guess Stephanie's not going to be able to go to the memorial. She'll stay home and take care of the dogs.
When is the memorial?
The 14th, Saturday. But it's all right. I mean, Bob, you can't revolve your life around my life. So it is what it is. So I'll just have to try to make things work and figure it all out.
Let me verify things, okay, before we get all off the beaten track. But that's what I got it down for, but let me check with her.
Yeah, that's all right. Just reach back out when you get a chance. Not an emergency.
Yeah, you know, I'd love to be able to take care of you, so, you know.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I get all that. That's why I'm calling you. That's why I'm giving you a jingle. But just figure it out. Let me know. We'll make it work.
All right, Gary.
All right, buddy. Have a great day.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Well, there you go. There you go. Well, that throws a whole loop in the ball game, which is unfortunate because my wife was wanting to be down there. See the dogs, man. Dogs. I guess you could kennel them, but woo. You know how much money that'd be? 7 dogs kenneled. Wow, that'd be radical, man. You're talking, yeah, I could be talking $500 to $700 a day. I know I could bring somebody in to babysit them. I know there's lots of options. The wife, no way. Wife's like, nope, you're not bringing somebody we don't know on this property to babysit the dogs. She's like, that's fine. I'll just stay home. So that's where it's all going. Oh, well, that's too bad. Bob may be wrong, but I don't think he is. So, and his daughter, you know, no lies. So it's not his daughter, it's his, you know, it's his stepdaughter. And she married this military guy that was the biggest loser in the world. This guy was such a loser, he got booted from the military because he was a raging alcoholic. And then he couldn't hold a job for nothing. And the guy drank himself to oblivion where eventually he's dead. You know these stories? And this guy would have only been in his 30s. Not some 50-year-old guy. Yeah, he got like dishonorable discharge from the Army because he was such a recluse. You're pretty screwed up and you get kicked out of the Army. I mean, you're pretty bad. But anyway, so I don't know. And I called my dad. And you know, and for me, the challenge for me is leaving town is Brian. Brian cannot run my company. He can't, you know, he can't, like right now, if I was out of town, I mean, it turns into, you know, you just, not that Brian wouldn't do it, but there comes a fine line and some things he just can't do and I have to get involved to help him get done. He's still very green of learning my business and the industry. So I don't know, man. It's right there. That changed a lot of dynamics. Because I could use Bob when I'm gone to help out Brian. Bob can go around and do little things that I do to help manage the days. And like I said earlier in my conversation today, I said I wish we would have set this whole thing up for the fall. We should have pushed it just to let the dust settle. My dad's overwhelmed. My dad and I should say my sister and a woman at church have been spending hours and hours and hours creating the album for the movie, whatever you want to call it, the slideshow of my mother's life. And my dad's been very heavily involved, having to go through all the photos and all the photo albums, which in so many ways is tear-jerking, heartbreaking for him because he's reliving his life with his wife. And it's just very, very challenging for him. So it's just so soon. And then my dad has a realtor knocking on his door to maybe you should sell your house now versus later. And then he has another person knocking on the door to do a estate sale. These people all want to make money. The downside to this is this turns into it's the money grab. It isn't compassion and sorrow for the father. It's I want to make a living. I need to sell another house. I need to do another estate sale. So my wife was going on and on about how I need to start picking and choose what I want. I'm like, honey, do we have any more room? We have no room in our house for any more furniture. I don't understand this conversation. But whatever. I'll go down there. I guess I'll take the truck and trailer down and haul a bunch of furniture back. I don't know. Well, here's the thing. I said, who knows what's actually going on? Where are you hearing my dad's moving this quickly? So I called my dad, and my dad claims that he's not doing anything until after the celebration of my mother's life. And until I get down there. So there's nothing going on. But I'm thinking, all right, so now I just spent 30 minutes on the phone with my wife, going back and forth of this and that and that and this for what? Yeah. Anybody know these stories, being a married couple? Relationships where you get hell-bent on something, but at the end of the day, there's nothing going on to get hell-bent on. Wow. Yeah, wow. But here's the interesting thing. My brother asked me, how long do you keep the cones on the dog's head after you get them spayed or neutered? And so he's getting the dogs all fixed. And so my brother can't hear, my dad can't hear. So my dad's on the phone, and he puts the phone on speakerphone to my brother, because my dad's hearing aids tying into his phone to be able to hear you. And my brother is asking, he said, well, the vet's telling me 14 days and this and that and that and this. So how long did it last for you? So I'm just kind of being silly. And I said 1 day. The dogs had their cones on for 1 day. So my brother goes, 10 days? Okay, 10 days. Like, no, 1 day, just being funny, 1 day. And I finally, my dad's like, no, he's saying 1 day. Here comes a guy in a Mustang. The state boys are now running around in Mustangs. Did you know that? In the state of Virginia, they now have issued Mustangs as state police cars. So here comes a guy wanting to do his thing. Dark horse. But I don't think that's my dark horse. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's hard to tell. And I think, no, that wasn't the color. That's that blue. I don't really like that performance blue. Yeah, so anyways, my brother's getting it done June 18th. So I was like, well, you know what? I'll be down there to help my brother figure all that out. But I said, well, how are the dogs doing? He said, great. I said, really? I said, you're happy? He's like, yeah. I said, so the dogs are doing good? He said, they're doing great. And now that my brother's moving forward to get the dogs fixed, he's spending money. So if he wasn't working out, then I would actually say that he'd be saying, hey man, do you want the dogs? That would be the conversation. Do you want to take the dogs back with you when you come down here? I'd be like, oh my God, not really. Not really. Yeah, I'd be like, ugh. So that'd be interesting when I go down there and I see what's going on. There comes an H2. The electric vehicle. It's interesting how this thing's kind of stuck in gear and won't go to the final drive. Remember, everybody, I tried to buy one of those. I tried to buy one. The financing just about went through. That'd have been a huge mistake. Yeah, that would have been a huge mistake. Even though I like the Hummer, I had the Hummer brand. I mean, if they probably could have got the deal done, I probably would have taken it, because I was still just right there before the chaos, the chit show was really starting to be disclosed. So, for some of those out there that are wondering, what are the breaking news? Okay, so here's some insight. And I think I'm so long into some of these videos that I don't think the spies listen to it. But this is what the breaking news is. The Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, is going through agency. In all reality, some people may know this, but I don't think the average person does. But what's going on right now, everybody, is the government's going through each agency, one step at a time. They're not laying off all these government people all at one time. So if you're sitting back thinking, why aren't you hearing more of the Doge gutting out the government employees? It is happening, but it's through agency to agency. So it's not happening overnight. It'll probably take most of this year, unbeknownst to you, for people to be given notice they no longer have a position. So like Roland was out at my house last week, and he has a good friend of his that he worked in the agency for years, and he's like 64, 65 years. He's got 33 years in the government, and he was given the notice, resign, or we ship you back. He worked in Homeland Security. That's who Roland is. He was a Homeland Security guy. So he said his friend was given the ultimatum: resign, or we're sending you back to the Iraq or Middle East. And this guy's like, hell no. I ain't doing that no more. So he resigned. So what happens is, the dirty secret is, each agency and division is being thoroughly looked over, and they're then coming to closure. What makes sense, what doesn't, who stays, who goes. But you don't get noticed till like 7 o'clock at night through an email on a Friday afternoon. So this hits close to home. This hits very close to home. So the breaking news is, am I part of the Department of Government Efficiency? And for one thing for sure, I got to kind of keep my tongue tied to a degree, but that's the breaking news. And I may have it, and I got to be very careful on how I present that. But it's right in my own backyard of what's going on. Wow. But I think sincerely what's going on is they're going through, if you think it through, if you're going to go through an organization and you're going to start gutting out who stays, who doesn't, are you going to keep the long tenured people that cost you the most to keep them? They're the highest pay, highest healthcare costs, highest pension capabilities, highest vacations. So what are you going to do? If you're a real meat cutter, which they call them, the meat cutters that come into the businesses and gut out all the trash, then you're going to go after all of the long-term workers that, come on, dude, just go, dude, go, come on, I can't, gotta get over, don't hit me, dude. So what's going to happen, you know as well as I do, common sense to tell you, anybody that has 30, 35 years in a job probably is on the radar screen. Yikes. Yeah, so once again, if you watch my channel, and this is a very dangerous conversation because it could be forced if the spies are among me. If I've named this video breaking news, it would probably have eyebrows. Whole point is that, I got to be careful on what I'm saying. And if it was probably heard by specific people, it would probably then go to, you have to take that down.